She finally has a date. She finally has a chance to smile again. And then, in one furious moment, her little brother throws his dinner across the room, and everything Bethany Platt has been trying to hold together threatens to fall apart. Welcome back to the channel, Corrie fans, because today we're diving into one of the most emotionally charged storylines heading to Weatherfield. A new romance for Bethany Platt that could be over before it even begins, all because of the anguish of her half-brother Harry and the fallout from their mother Sarah's shocking imprisonment. If you've been following Coronation Street even loosely over the past year, you'll know the Platt family has been through the ringer. And just when it looked like there might finally be a flicker of light at the end of the tunnel for Bethany, the show is setting up a gut punch of a storyline that pits her personal happiness against her responsibility to a grieving, frightened little boy. So let's break down exactly what's coming, why it matters, and why fans are already bracing themselves for heartbreak. For those who need a refresher, Bethany Platt is played by Lucy Fallon, one of the most enduring young stars to come out of the Corrie stable in the last decade. Bethany's journey on the cobbles has been anything but easy. Longtime viewers will remember her horrifying grooming storyline as a teenager, one of the most acclaimed and hard-hitting plots the show has ever produced. Since then, Bethany has been through relationship turmoil, career changes, a stint working for a magazine in London, and more recently, health struggles following a botched cosmetic procedure abroad that left her with lasting physical and emotional scars. She's also had a rocky on-again, off-again romance with Daniel Osborne, which ultimately fell apart for good after complications involving his ex, Daisy Midgley. After everything, Bethany made the decision to leave her job in London and return home to Weatherfield, moving back in with her mother Sarah, played by Tina O'Brien, and her young half-brother Harry at their flat in Red Bank Apartments. She's since settled into a more low-key life on the cobbles, working as a nail technician, trying to rebuild some sense of stability after years of chaos. But stability has been in short supply for the Platts lately, because Sarah's story has taken a dark and dramatic turn, one that's now casting a long shadow over the entire family and especially over Bethany's chance at happiness. Sarah Platt has been sent to prison, a seismic development that has upended the whole household. While the specifics of how she landed behind bars have played out over recent episodes, what matters most right now is the impact that separation is having on everyone she left behind, particularly her son Harry, who is far too young to fully process why his mom has suddenly disappeared from his daily life. Sarah's ex-partner, police officer Kit Green, played by Jacob Roberts, has stepped up to help hold things together on the outside, taking on a caregiving role for Harry while Sarah serves her time. It's a generous gesture from Kit, but it's also placing enormous pressure on a young boy who is clearly struggling to cope with all the upheaval swirling around him. Now here's where the story takes a turn that's got fans talking. Behind bars, Sarah's situation is becoming increasingly unsettling. She's caught the attention of an intimidating fellow inmate whose menacing stares have left her rattled, and during a visit, Bethany is horrified to discover her mother sporting a badly bruised face. True to form, Sarah tries to brush it off and insists she's fine, but it's obvious to Bethany and to viewers that something frightening has happened inside those prison walls. Thankfully, Sarah hasn't been left to fend for herself entirely. She's formed an unlikely bond with another inmate named Casey, someone she's come to trust and lean on during this terrifying chapter of her life. Sarah even opens up to Casey about how worried she is for Harry, and how grateful she is that Kit has stepped in to help. But that conversation takes an unexpected twist when Casey casually mentions that word has spread around the prison that Sarah's ex is a police officer, information Sarah never shared herself. It's a small but chilling detail that leaves Sarah shaken, wondering just how much other inmates know about her life and how that information got out in the first place. It's the kind of storyline thread that Corrie does so well, planting seeds of unease that could easily blossom into something far more dangerous down the line. Later, Casey finds Sarah hiding in her cell after being threatened by another prisoner and promises to protect her, cementing herself as Sarah's unlikely ally and possibly setting up a friendship that could become pivotal as this prison storyline develops further. Meanwhile, back on the cobbles, it's Bethany's turn to try and carve out a little bit of happiness for herself. After everything she's endured, from heartbreak to health scares to now essentially becoming a second parent to her little brother, Bethany is encouraged to focus on herself for once. She's got a date lined up with a new man named Roman, and for a moment, it looks like she might actually get the evening off she so desperately needs. Kit agrees to stay at the flat and look after Harry, and Glenda Shuttleworth, played by Jodie Pringer, even offers to take Harry along to the local kids' club, Little Big Shots, to make things easier on everyone. For a brief, hopeful moment, it seems as though Bethany might finally get to walk out that door worry-free and enjoy a proper night out. Of course, this is Coronation Street, and nothing stays smooth for long. Just as things are falling into place, Kit breaks the news to Harry that he won't be able to look after him the following week either, because he's already arranged for Harry to spend that time at Little Big Shots instead. For Harry, who is already overwhelmed by his mother's absence and the constant upheaval in his life, this piece of news is the final straw. He completely loses his temper, hurling his dinner onto the floor in a raw, emotional outburst that leaves Kit scrambling to manage the fallout entirely on his own, because Bethany, blissfully unaware, is already out enjoying her date with Roman. It's a devastating bit of dramatic irony that Coronation Street writers clearly know exactly how to wield. While Bethany is finally letting herself feel something like joy again, her little brother is falling apart back home, and neither Kit nor the audience knows how long that fragile piece on Bethany's date can possibly last before reality comes crashing back in. Unsurprisingly, this storyline has already got fans buzzing across social media and soap forums. Longtime viewers have been vocal about wanting to see Bethany finally get a storyline that isn't rooted in trauma or heartbreak, and the introduction of Roman as a potential new love interest has sparked plenty of speculation about who he is, how he and Bethany crossed paths, and whether he'll stick around for the long haul. At the same time, there's real concern building around Harry's well-being. Fans who have followed the Platt family for years know just how much this little boy has already been through, and many are pointing out that his outburst isn't simply a tantrum, but a clear cry for stability and reassurance during one of the most frightening periods of his young life. There's also growing chatter about Sarah's prison storyline, with viewers eager to find out more about Casey's true motives and whether her offer of protection comes with strings attached, or whether she genuinely has Sarah's back in a place that's clearly become more dangerous than anyone anticipated. So what could all of this mean going forward? For Bethany, the big question is whether she can actually hold on to this new romance with Roman while shouldering so much responsibility at home. Corrie has a long history of testing its characters just as they start to find happiness, and Bethany's track record on this show has been particularly unlucky when it comes to relationships. Fans will be watching closely to see whether Roman is written as a genuine long-term prospect for her, someone patient enough to understand the chaos she's dealing with, or whether this is simply another short-lived romance destined to buckle under pressure. For Harry, this storyline could be laying the groundwork for a much deeper look at how children process trauma and separation from a parent, a subject Coronation Street has tackled with real sensitivity in the past. It wouldn't be surprising to see Harry's behavior escalate further before the show addresses it head-on, potentially bringing in additional support for him, whether that's through Kit, Bethany, or even a return visit from Sarah herself, depending on how her prison sentence plays out. And then there's Sarah's storyline behind bars, which honestly feels like it's only just getting started. The mystery of how details about Kit's job made their way around the prison, combined with the looming threat from that unnamed intimidating inmate, suggests there's plenty more danger and drama still to come. Whether Casey turns out to be a genuine friend or someone with a hidden agenda remains to be seen, but either way, it's clear Sarah's time inside is going to test her in ways she never expected. Fans are already speculating about how these threads might collide. Could Harry's emotional struggles eventually affect Bethany's blossoming relationship with Roman in a way that forces her to make an impossible choice between her own happiness and her brother's well-being? Could Sarah's situation in prison escalate to the point where it directly impacts the family on the outside, pulling Bethany even further away from any chance at normalcy? These are the kinds of tangled, high-stakes questions that keep Corrie fans coming back episode after episode, and this storyline looks primed to deliver exactly that kind of tension. So to sum it all up, Bethany Platt is finally being given a shot at happiness with a new romance involving a man named Roman, but with her mother Sarah behind bars and facing real danger, and her young half-brother Harry spiraling emotionally under the weight of it all, that happiness looks incredibly fragile from the outset. Kit Green is doing his best to hold the fort, but even his efforts aren't enough to stop Harry's outburst, leaving fans wondering just how much more this family can take before something has to give. Add in the unsettling developments in Sarah's prison storyline, from her mysterious bruises to her uneasy alliance with fellow inmate Casey, and it's clear the Platts are heading into one of their most turbulent chapters yet. That's everything we know so far about Bethany's new romance and Harry's emotional turmoil in Coronation Street. Do you think Bethany and Roman stand a chance, or is this relationship doomed before it even gets going? And what do you make of Harry's outburst? Is this the beginning of a much bigger storyline about how he's coping with his mom's imprisonment? Let us know your thoughts and predictions down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you never miss another Coronation Street update. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.